Hello, and welcome to part 3 of our conversation with Margaret DeMarino. In this edition, Margaret discussed the importance of gratitude and simple ways to incorporate it into our daily lives.
You go to Google and just Google any template. There's a million and one free templates on gratitude journals, and the one I have, it's kind of complicated. It's like name 10 things you're grateful for, and what was the best part of your day. So if you like to kind of journal, that would be really good. Otherwise, you can do something as simple as take like an Evernote or a note taking app on your phone, and every day write down 3 things that went well, or not even went well, but 3 things you're grateful for that day. And it could be like, for example, today I got tested. I don't have COVID-19. Number 2, I got to spend some really cool time with Angelina and Debbie today, plus yourselves. And maybe number 3, my delivery of Dove chocolate just arrived from Target. Yay. So it can be that simple, and it's amazing. I had somebody I was personally coaching, and he had actually been at Yale in the mental health unit because he was really struggling with life. And his mother was a student, and she, wanted him to be to get him some more guidance. So what I did with him, we would meet one on a Saturday for an hour and a half, and his mother would kind of stay in her car outside and then take him to Popeyes afterwards. And I know some of you are going, how old was he? Well, he was 30, and he was having a difficult time getting started in life. Some people do. And so first time I met with him, I mean, he just felt like he defined himself as a loser. Nothing was really happening in his life. He lived with his mom in the basement. Nothing was going on. And so I didn't even know where to start. I was a little bit of a loss, but I started him with a gratitude journal. And the next week he came back, and his answers, it was hard almost not to laugh at him, because he would be like, he was like, I don't have anything to be grateful for. I said, anything, no matter how small. So he came back with things like, well, I shook a can of Diet Coke by accident. When I opened it, it didn't fizz. And I would go, "Oh, that's good, Joe." It's really, really small things like that. But I really encouraged him, and we built a foundation on that. And start with gratitude. For all you guys, when you're emailing your teachers, or when you send your cover letters, or you're going into the work world, my rule is, unless it's extremely routine, like a really quick answer, try to make an one I appreciate in every email you write. I appreciate, and if you can, a thank you too. And that's really good advice, and people will notice your appreciative spirit, and they will like you because of it. Everybody likes somebody who appreciates what they do. Don't forget thank you notes, when you go on, even if it's email, because you want it to be timely. And I would say even follow it up with a handwritten one. It'll get you noticed. And just be authentic, be yourself, go in and do the best you can, because that's all you can do, right? And don't ever beat yourself up, because that's just going to add more stress. Hey, look, at worst case scenario, you flunk a course, you take it again. That doesn't have anything to do with what a great person you are. You always want to put your best foot forward and really do the best you can. But listen, I don't know. Hey, Debbie or Angelina, did you get the field manual on how to work and study in a pandemic? Because I know I didn't get that. We're all just trying really hard, and none of us know how to survive a pandemic. I mean, yes, we have now 7 months experience at it, but just try your best. That's the message my mother gave me when I was growing up. Do your best. That's all we can do, and take a lot of the burden and pressure off of you. Okay. And I think that that way you're going to do better in life. From my end of life, which is older than you guys, that's what served me well. My life is, I just did my best. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, then so what? Just so what? Just do your best and then move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Margaret, I think that your words of wisdom are perfect for all of the students that are stressing out right now, thinking about going into finals week. But, like you said, we're all kind of going through this together. We're all kind of learning. We're kind of making it out the other end together. And we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves. This is a difficult time for everybody. do the best you can. It will be fine. You'll probably do better than you're even thinking you will do.
Absolutely.
Just remember a lot of the strategies that you mentioned, the mindfulness, the meditations, the breathing. I think a lot of, they have a lot of good takeaways
Thank you.
from your presentation right now. So we
And
really
it's,
appreciate you taking this time.
oh, it's my pleasure. And I think that's very good word of wisdom that you had to kind of sum up. Don't be hard on yourself. When I ask an average class how many of them are hard on themselves, I'd say half the hands of the class go up. Now, being hard on yourself doesn't mean you can't have high standards if you're not hard on yourself. I'm not hard on myself at all. I forgive myself for a lot of things, but I do set really high standards for myself. It's just that I don't beat myself up. So look at the good you've accomplished, not the crap, because that's always going to happen. One of my Buddhist leaders years ago said, we have peaks and valleys in our life, and the peaks are the really good points, and we stand there as long as we can, and then sometimes we slide down to the valley. She said, it's the amount of time you spend in the valley before you go back up. It's that amount of time. So you know what? It's really a matter of setting patterns. And so yes, I think that's great advice to them. Don't be hard on yourself. And you know what? Nothing's the end of the world. And you'll live to do better tomorrow. And some of my friends in life at this stage of my life, the multi-gazillionaires, they weren't the A plus students in college. You have to have a good head on your shoulder. So, and just enjoy life. Those are the people that are doing phenomenally now, but the ones that made themselves get the A plus and wouldn't ever study, they're kind of stress ridden now when I see them at reunions. They don't seem very happy. So just enjoy life. Study hard, enjoy life. Okay. And I think we'll leave us there unless there's any more questions.
I think that's good. Thank you
No,
so
that's
much,
great.
Margaret.
Thank you so much. We
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And listen, anybody who's put on to the end of this, good luck, and have a wonderful holidays and good finals. And I'm sure you'll do great. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.